Always expect the unexpected, especially when it comes to trading in the stock market. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com here. Daily market recap for April 4th. So like, subscribe, and let's hit the charts. SPY ended up the day at the low of the day, 1.2% to the downside, but overall, from the high of the day till the low of the day, 2.1% more or less on the SPY to the downside. We've been talking about this double top scenario in the past few weeks, and here we are. It takes only one Fed representative that will say that he thinks or she thinks, they think, no rate cuts during 2024. This is how it looks on the 65 minutes. If you are a member of the Discord, in our Fibonacci Traders Discord, we were ready for this before it happened. Look, we took short. Once SPY was the 522, we took short. And we all know how this short aged pretty well. We make money in the Fibonacci Traders Discord. We make money. So join us. Links in the description below. Join us. Take your financial freedom in your own hands and start seeing results. Look at the QQQs. Broke below the uptrend channel. Broke below the yellow zone. We have bearish signals except on the weekly, because one candle does not change the overall sentiment on the weekly. On the weekly, we are still in an uptrend, but the FTI warns us we broke massively, 1.5% to the downside. QQQ ended the day at the low of the day. Overall, the Qs lost 2.7% from the high of the day till the low of the day. Now, 432 will need to hold, otherwise this gap will get filled. 425, below it we have another gap at the 413, below it another gap at the 407. Remember, always expect the unexpected. Now we are expecting at least the 425 gap will get filled. Dow Jones 1.3% to the downside, broke massively below this option channel, below the yellow zone, 1.3%, but from the high of the day until the low of the day, Dow Jones 2.2% to the downside. This is how it looks. Sideways move, boom to the downside. And the FTI, look how the FTI just adjusting itself on every time frame that you want to trade. We have been talking on the Dow Jones, this double top scenario. You're more than welcome to check latest videos. We have been talking about this double top scenario, and we said that if the yellow zone will fail to hold, we will see the 386. And here we are. Once we truly understand price action, how price works, how Fibonacci works, how trendline works, all this working together, all these three components, how they really works together, we are professional traders and we can start seeing things before it happens. Yes, we knew, we were expecting this. IWM still holding above this yellow zone. Below this yellow zone, it will break the uptrend channel back to the 200, and below the 200 we will see one by one all these future supports to the downside. But look how this yellow zone, let's clean the chart a little bit. Look how this yellow zone, we drew this yellow zone few days back and it's still holding. It all comes down to Fibonacci, trend lines, and of course understanding pure price action. Check the links in the description below. Join me today so we will be fully prepared for the second half of 2024. Yes, we are just beginning Q2, but it takes time, it takes patience. We need to learn. It takes time. It's not from today and tomorrow we become professional traders. It takes time. It takes at least 3-4 months. So join today the one-on-one live mentorship program or the pre-recorded mentorship program, and join me and you will gain access, lifetime support and guidance from me, and of course all Discord channel. Join today and let's start making money together. And then doesn't matter if the market goes down or up, Fibonacci traders, we are always ready for both sides. Bitcoin yesterday with a massive bullish one candle to the upside. Overall, one candle does not change the overall sentiment. We are still under the impression of a double top scenario. Now this yellow zone needs to hold once again as support. Look the yellow zone, how it's holding as support. Ethereum, doji after doji, 3 consecutive dojis below the yellow zone. We are still in a full bearish sentiment on all time frames. 32.12 needs to hold the support. Otherwise, 30.60 and below 30.60, Ethereum, it's all over. We will see 2600 and then back to the 2136. KRE still moving sideways, as you can see. Nothing much on the KRE. Sideways move. Magnificent 7, ETF, MAGS. Not surprising. Sell signal broke inside the yellow zone. Now, below the 38.54, we will see 37, and below the 37.60, this gap, be prepared. This gap will get filled. SOXX, 2.8% to the downside in one day. We had the same day, March 24th. Back then it was 4%. Today is 2.8%. Now let's see if the 218 can hold. Below it, 212. Below the 212, prepare for this gap at the 204, and then another gap at the 186. Remember, more than 80, around 85, 90% of all gaps will get filled. Check out this SPY on the 65 minutes. Look at this. Let's clean the chart a little bit. We had a gap over here. Tuesday's gap to the downside. Thursday's gap to the upside. What happened? Both of these gaps got filled with only one candle. Now you have also this gap at the 510.60. Below it, you have this gap at the 507. Be prepared. Anything can happen. And then you have the 498 gap. Anything can happen. And once you see a gap to the downside, be prepared. More than 85% chance this gap, and it doesn't matter how far it is, will get filled. MSOS. What can we say? 9.5% to the downside. We have been waiting for this ETF to break above the 1050 during the day. It broke, but then anything just collapsed. Also the MJ, you know this trend line, you know this yellow trend line. We drew it few days back, and we said that once price will reach to this yellow trend line, it will have a tough time to break above it. Just look left, understand price action and the correlation with trend lines. This is why I always say trend lines are your true roadmap for future price action. Every time since October 2023, MJ price reached this yellow trend line, it got rejected. So today it got rejected because of news. But it's not news, because we know that this yellow trend line is a very tough resistance. It's a good resistance because it helps us understand we have higher highs. But for now, we are preparing to the downside. Like, subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Now let's continue talking about the XLF. XLF one day just wiped out 2 weeks of trading in one day. Now, bearish on all time frames. It doesn't mean we need to go short on XLF. It just means that if we are long on XLF, this is the time, in my opinion. This is not a financial advice. In my opinion, this long is over until proven otherwise. 41 needs to hold, otherwise 40.30, and then this gap at the 39.65. Apple tried and failing. Apple is failing to close above the 170.60. Look at this. Resistance, support, resistance. And the 168 for now holding strong. Will it continue to hold strong? No one knows. We need to prepare. Prepare for a weekly close below the 168, and then this road where it takes us all the way to the 146 gap. Meta holding 0.82 to the upside closed today. We have a gap here that needs to get filled. We are still inside an uptrend channel. Meta for now is holding the market on its shoulders, almost alone. 405 needs to hold below it. 493 and back to the 475. Can Meta do it by itself? Because Microsoft is not much of a great help. Microsoft back to the 417. Below it, this gap at the 405 will get filled. Look at this. Yellow zone is holding a support. Can it continue to hold the support? If no, 410 and then this gap at the 406. Look at the FTI. It gives us everything that we need. It gives us also the gap over here. Amazon. Yesterday, Wednesday, we thought that here Amazon is here and Amazon is going to the upside. But now this middle trend line, look how it's acting as a resistance. It's resistance for the higher highs, and this lower trend line is the support for the lower lows. Amazon is still inside an uptrend channel. Let's see if it can hold during the end of this week, the end of Friday. Can Amazon still hold inside this uptrend channel? Tesla green, end of the day on the green side, but look at this, still struggling to close above the yellow zone. The yellow zone is the most important zone of support and resistance. This is why I said in the past few days, and anyone who asked me, is this the time? Can we start taking long on Tesla? I say patience. We need to see a weekly close above the yellow zone. No rush, no FOMO. We are still inside this downtrend channel. Look at this. Trend lines. Every time Tesla reaches to this trend line, what's happening to Tesla? Getting rejected. Nvidia 3.4% to the downside. We have been talking about this double top scenario on Nvidia, and we said in the past few days, you're more than welcome to check the latest, all the previous market recaps in the past few days. We have been saying that bulls of Nvidia are getting weaker and weaker each and every day. And if you're looking to go long on Nvidia, we need to wait for a weekly close above the 923. Now, Nvidia 3.4% to the downside. 841 needs to hold, otherwise we have a gap over here at the 823 and another gap over here at the 688. Let me know in the comments below, will this gap at the 688, 689 will get filled? It will get filled, it's a matter of time. My question is, will we see this gap during April getting filled? Let me know in the comments below. Super interesting to know what you think about Nvidia and its price action. Netflix 2.2% to the downside, back inside the yellow zone, still holding inside this long-term uptrend channel. Let's see how Netflix will end up the day, the week. MicroStrategy still struggling with the yellow zone. One click away, ladies and gentlemen, and you have the best technical analysis on your chart. All you need to do is put it on your chart, links in the description below, and then you have the best. It's not an indicator, it's a tool. It's the best tool there is, with up to 85-90% accuracy on any time frame that you want to trade. And of course, it comes with support, guidance on how to use it. We have videos on how to use it for our best to help us understand price action on multi-time frames, MSTR inside the yellow zone, breaking below the 1464. We will see 1131 below it. We have multiple gaps to the downside and MSTR. Be prepared. The same price action we saw over here to the upside, we can easily see it to the downside, and then these two gaps will get filled all the way back to the 695 area. Google 2.8% to the downside, but look at this, still holding the 150. It all comes down to Fibonacci, trend lines, and of course understanding price action to its core. Look how price reacts to Fibonacci levels, to the Fibonacci support and resistance. Below it, no need to guess, 146. Below 146, we have this gap over here, which Fibonacci, the FTI, gives us automatically. AMD falling apart, 8.2% to the downside. And where are we? The 166 area. We have been talking about this 172, 166 area in the past few weeks or so. Here we are. Below it, 148 is incoming to this gap. Over here, the FTI gives us also gaps, you see? Put it on your chart and you will see things you never saw before. SMCI 5.7% to the downside, still in a downtrend channel. Look at this. During hours, SMCI tried to break above the downtrend channel, got rejected, and then news helped push price to the downside. Now 931 needs to hold. Below it, 867. Below it, we have this gap at the 776. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and educational. If so, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, because we are going live every day, preparing together for another trading day. Until then, stay safe.